My first job here at HUI was a scheduler. I'd been a interim materials manager at a $120 million company. Had schedulers that worked for me. I did not know how to schedule, so that's a little known fact. I showed up, popped around the corner in the lobby there, had my briefcase because that's what you do when you don't know what you're doing, back in 1993. Kathy Vogel, who's a long-term employee and great person, she stood down at the hall and said, "Are you the scheduler?" I said, "I am," and she darn near ran down the hall and said, "Oh, thank God you're here." That should have been my first clue that they needed scheduling, and I probably needed to know how to schedule. So when I did schedule, I just put 4 weeks on everything. That's how we did it back then. I was promoted to production manager. And I'm not sure how long I did that job. I'm old and it all went so fast. And then Charlie bought out his nephews and his sister-in-law, and he asked me to be operations manager. So I did that job for several years, probably the longest job I had before president. And then that was kind of a funny interview because I had wanted to apply for the second shift supervisor because I thought I wanted to get into leading in addition to planning. So I interviewed for that, and then the next day they offered me a operations manager spot, and I thought, if you're dumb enough to offer, I'll be dumb enough to take it. So I did that. Once again, didn't really know what I was doing, but just had a strong desire for clarity, organization, and planning, that type of thing. So we all muddled through that. And then in 1997, I was riding with Charlie in a car on I-43, and I thought he was leading up to something else, and he asked me to be president. So I actually said, "Are you sure?" Because I didn't know how to be a president back then. I still don't some days today. But long story short, he asked me to do that. So once again, I told Charlie, if you're dumb enough to ask, I'll be dumb enough to give it a shot. The two of us, he was very customer focused and I was very internally focused. So it was a great partnership on a lot of fronts. Then I stepped aside for a little bit. I had led HUI through some change, and I think HUI is probably a little tired of me, and I was a little fatigued from leading. So then I kind of stepped aside, and Dan Riedinger was president for several years, did a very good job, led us through the recession. And then when Dan left to take on another opportunity, a company in Minneapolis, a little bigger, and his next step, if you will, I got back in as president and have been doing that since, 97 to 12. So since 2012, I've been back in as president. I think I'm a little better at the job this time than I was first time.